Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking today's video out and spending some of your time with me. And today, guys, I want to show you what I consider the #1 lure for May bass fishing. At the time of filming this video, we're about a week away from May. Unbelievable, the time's gone by this fast. But I'm going to show you guys probably the #1 lure for me as far as what I've caught more bass on the last 3 or 4 years in May than about any other lure. It works all over the country. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, a couple quick invitations. Just like to invite everybody to please consider hitting that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. Free and easy to do so. It's a great way to support the channel if you like the content here. And also, guys, I'd like to invite you to please check out our Fish of the Moment lake map breakdowns. We also got our summer maps up on the site right now. These are great resources to learn more about your favorite lake and just, get some good fishing spots on a lake you've been to or never been before. So I'll put that link in the description to my lake map breakdowns. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, take a guess what it may be. A lot of you guys are going to probably say maybe a topwater, maybe crankbait or something like that. But guys, #1 bait in the month of May for me, and I'll give you guys some tips and advice on how to rig it, areas to fish it, is a small swim jig. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you the bait. I'm going to show you how to rig it up with a trailer on it, and then talk about, just what you need as far as conditions. So first of all, the jig that we're talking about, this is the Megabass Ouzo Swimmer. This is a super, super unique swim jig. It's got the patented Megabass fish head design. Guys, see this fish head design here? This right here, Megabass invented this. All the ones, most companies have copied this over the years, but this is an original Megabass design. It's got a super sharp nano-coated hook, comes in several different sizes, a fairly light weed guard because you don't need a heavy weed guard on a swim jig. And then it's got a spinner underneath it for an added attraction. This is like probably the only swim jig I know that has that. So it's like sort of a cross between a finessey spinner bait and a swim jig, just a very shady looking bait. Now, what I pair it up with, this is the Zoom Z-Craw worm. So what I do with it is basically just bite it off or pull it off right towards the end here. This Z-Craw tail, guys, has a super, super unique vibration. Really puts out, a lot of good water displacement, has a lot of action, looks really lifelike. So I'm going to put this Z-Craw worm, and also, guys, I'll link my Ouzo Swimmer swim jig link and the Z-Craw worm link in my Tackle Warehouse description in this video if you guys would like to get you some of these Ouzo swim jigs. Guys, this is the best swim jig you can buy. I'll just, no doubt about it, you guys will love this thing. So anyway, you want to rig this thing. Make sure when you rig it that you get it perfectly level in terms of the legs being completely flat, because that's going to give you the best action on it. Another thing about this Ouzo swim jig, guys, it has a super, super good keeper on the thing. It's got like sort of a stiff plastic keeper. Once you get the plastic on these things, you just about have to tear the plastic up to get it out. But that's the setup, guys. This is a 3/16 ounce swim jig. Super finessey. This whole bait here is only about, maybe 2.5 inches long, something like that. And guys, this is a killer in the month of May for a couple different reasons. #1 is May is the shad spawn month. And bass are really, really keen on small shad in the month of May because it's the first hatch of the year. So the little swim jig is going to be really good, just because of that. But other than that, it's just about the water temperature and the water clarity being right. Now, let me talk a little bit about the ideal scenario to fish a swim jig in if you've never fished one. And of course, the colors, guys, just depends on your water clarity. I use the white ones and some perch color. They make a black and blue one too. Just depends on that. But what you want to have in order for a swim jig to work good, got to have some stained water, and you got to have some shallow water cover in that stained water. So there's really not like a bottom level murkiness to the swim jig. I remember I did super good in a tournament at Lake Dardanelle one time, and it was mud. The water visibility was about like that. And I took a black jig and I put a bright chartreuse trailer on it in that super muddy water and did really good in it. But most of the time I want to have water visibility of less than 2 foot. To me, for a swim jig, the perfect water visibility is about probably 12 to 15 inches in that range. And the cover can be anything. It's like just whatever your lake has. It doesn't matter. And that's why a swim jig works so good all over the country, is it works good in Florida around aquatic vegetation. You can catch them on it in North Carolina around piling docks. You can catch them on the Potomac River around lily pads, any type of shallow grass, gator grass, water willows, lay down trees, rock banks, just riprap, whatever it is. And you don't even have to have bank cover. You don't have to have like wood or grass on the bank. You can just go down the bank a lot of times and catch them on a swim jig when those fish are up shallow in the month of May. Because what happens is, especially during the first and second week of May, is you have a lot of bass garden fry. And even if they're not guarding fry, they're still up shallow, feeding, getting ready to move out to deeper water. And they really love this horizontal presentation of a small swim jig in that, dirty or shallow water. I think that the size is really key. A lot of guys use a swim jig, maybe like a 3/8 or ½ ounce with like a big rage craw tail on it, about 3 times bigger than this. But guys, this little bitty swim jig will get you a big bite. You can catch 5 and 6 pounders on it as easy as you can catch 2 pounders on it. But main thing what you want to do with it also is once you get into this, the right type of area, the right type of cover, is how you work the swim jig, and the equipment that you throw it on is really critical. I prefer throwing my swim jigs, even the small ones like this, on my flipping stick. The reason I say that is I can pitch and flip that swim jig just like I would pitch and flip a jig. Say, for example, there's a lay down tree. I can pitch that swim jig just in the openings of the limbs, or I can pitch it up underneath the boat dock, and I can cast it. I can make an underhand cast, a sidearm cast, an overhand cast with a flipping stick. But another reason I really like a flipping stick is the length of it allows me to keep the bait shallower easier. The whole key on catching bass on a swim jig is you've got to keep it high in the water column. Most of the time when I fish a swim jig, in fact, all the time, I want it in sight. I don't ever fish a swim jig if it's out of sight. Not say ever. Occasionally in Florida, I've done it a little bit in that panic water, but 95% of the time, I'm watching this bait almost as like a topwater lure. So I'll throw it out there with that flipping stick. I'll keep my rod tip high, and I'll just throw it out there and just shake it as I'm reeling it in. Don't just reel it in. Don't just throw a swim jig out there and just reel it, swim it in. You want to shake your rod tip the whole time you're working it, so it's sort of like undulating along the top like that. It just gives it a lot more natural lifelike appearance. And another thing is when you get a bite on a swim jig, a lot of times it's like a topwater bite, because I like to fish my swim jigs about that far into the water most of the time. So when you get a 3 or 4 pound bass that comes up on the swim jig, they'll leave a big boil in the water. Now you have to be prepared for this, and you have to hesitate. You need to resist the instinct to set the hook immediately, because a lot of times if you're fishing and you haven't had a bite for a while, you throw it out there, you're working the swim jig, and all of a sudden one boils on the thing, and you're like a live nerve ending, and you'll just set the hook real fast. When you throw it out there and you're working that swim jig and one boils on it, just drop your rod tip and let that fish swim with that jig for maybe 3 or 4 feet, and then just lean into it. You don't have to set the hook hard, because this is a wire nano-coated hook right here, and it doesn't take anything to penetrate it. But by allowing that fish to move with that bait on a slack line, it just gets it a little bit further in the mouth, and most of the time when you hook them, they're going to be right through the roof of the mouth. So super fun way to catch them, man. It's like a swim jig has got to be definitely in my top, probably for sure my top 10, maybe my top 5 in the favorite ways to actually catch a bass and get a strike on it. And like I said, in my opinion, May, sometimes maybe towards the first part of June is the best time of year to fish a swim jig. So anyway, guys, I'll put the Uzo Swimmer swim jig in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. Get you a few of them. I think you guys will really like it. So talk later.